Have you ever found yourself wondering, is this just what getting older feels like? Maybe you've noticed that your energy isn't quite what it used to be. Or perhaps you've started buying into some of the common ideas about aging, like how it's all downhill from here. I know I've heard those whispers too. But here's the thing. So much of what we think we know about aging is based on myths, not reality. And today we're going to clear up some of those misconceptions together. Now, before we dive in, let me ask you something. Have you ever caught yourself saying, or hearing someone else say, things like, "Oh, I'm just too old to try that," or "Memory loss is just a part of getting older"? These are the kinds of statements that can sneak into our lives and shape how we see ourselves as we age. But here's the truth. Many of these ideas aren't facts at all. They're outdated beliefs that don't hold up when we look at the science or listen to real-life stories of people thriving later in life. So if you've ever felt like aging means you have to settle for less, this video is for you. Today, we're going to explore the truth about aging by breaking down some of the most common myths and comparing them to what's really happening. Along the way, I'll share practical tips and insights that can help you feel more empowered and confident no matter where you are in life. By the end of this conversation, my hope is that you'll walk away feeling a little lighter, a little more informed, and maybe even inspired to challenge some of those limiting beliefs you've been carrying around. Sound good? Let's get started. One of the biggest myths out there is the idea that losing energy is just an inevitable part of growing older. You've probably heard it before. Of course you're tired. You're not 25 anymore. And sure, it's true that our bodies change as we age. But here's the thing. Feeling constantly drained doesn't have to be your new normal. In fact, many people over 60 report having more energy than they did decades earlier, simply because they've learned how to take better care of themselves. So, why does this myth persist? Well, part of it comes down to lifestyle choices. Think about it. As we get older, it's easy to fall into habits that sap our energy without us even realizing it. Maybe you're not moving as much as you used to, or perhaps stress has crept into your daily routine. The good news is that small changes can make a big difference. For example, staying active, even if it's just a short walk every day, can do wonders for your energy levels. It gets your heart pumping, boosts circulation, and releases those feel-good endorphins that leave you feeling refreshed instead of run down. Plus, regular movement helps keep your muscles strong, which makes everyday tasks easier and less exhausting. But physical activity isn't the only piece of the puzzle. Another key factor is sleep. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I already sleep plenty, but I still wake up tired. And honestly, I hear you. Sleep patterns do shift as we age, but quality matters just as much as quantity. If you're tossing and turning or waking up multiple times during the night, it could be worth looking into ways to improve your sleep environment. Something as simple as reducing screen time before bed, keeping your bedroom cool and dark, or establishing a calming bedtime routine can work wonders. Remember, restorative sleep is one of the best gifts you can give your body, and it plays a huge role in how energetic you feel during the day. Let's talk about another big myth, the belief that memory loss is unavoidable after a certain age. Raise your hand if you've ever forgotten someone's name or misplaced your keys and immediately thought, "Oh no, here we go." Trust me, you're not alone. But here's the reality. While some cognitive changes are normal with age, significant memory loss isn't something you just have to accept. In fact, research shows that staying mentally sharp is often about staying engaged. Think about it this way. Our brains are kind of like muscles. If you stop using them, they can weaken over time. But if you keep challenging them, they stay strong and adaptable. This doesn't mean you need to go back to school or solve complex math problems every day. unless you enjoy that sort of thing. Sometimes it's the simple activities that make the biggest difference. Things like reading, doing puzzles, learning a new hobby, or even having deep conversations with friends and family can stimulate your brain and help keep it sharp. The key is to find activities that excite you and push you just a little bit outside your comfort zone. And speaking of social connections, let's touch on another important point. There's a misconception that as we age, we naturally become more isolated, or that maintaining friendships becomes less important. But here's the truth. Staying socially connected is one of the most powerful things you can do for your mental and emotional well-being. Studies show that people who maintain strong social ties tend to live longer, happier lives. They also experience lower rates of depression and anxiety, which can directly impact both your mood and your cognitive health. So whether it's joining a club, volunteering, or simply reaching out to an old friend, don't underestimate the power of connection. Now that we've covered how energy and memory aren't doomed to decline just because of age, and how staying active, prioritizing sleep, and nurturing your brain and relationships can help, you might be wondering, what's next? Well, there's still so much more to unpack. From debunking the idea that aging means giving up independence to exploring how nutrition plays a role in how we feel, we're just getting started. Let's keep going and talk about how taking charge of your diet can set the foundation for a vibrant, fulfilling life. Now that we've talked about how staying active, prioritizing sleep, and keeping your brain engaged can help you feel more energized and mentally sharp, let's dive into another area that plays a huge role in how you experience aging: nutrition. If you're like most people, you've probably heard the saying, "You are what you eat." But have you ever stopped to think about how true that really is? What you put on your plate doesn't just affect your waistline, it influences everything from your energy levels to your mood, your immune system, and even how well your body repairs itself. One of the biggest myths out there is that as you get older, your metabolism slows down so much that you don't need to worry about what you eat anymore. Sure, your metabolism might not be as fast as it was in your 20s, but that doesn't mean you should throw healthy eating out the window. In fact, good nutrition becomes even more important as you age because your body needs the right fuel to function at its best. Think of it this way. If you owned a car that had been running smoothly for decades, would you suddenly start putting low-quality gas in the tank? Probably not. Your body works the same way. It deserves premium care, especially now. So, what does premium care look like when it comes to food? Well, it starts with balance. A diet rich in whole foods, things like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats, is one of the best ways to support your overall health. These foods provide essential nutrients that help reduce inflammation, protect your heart, and keep your bones strong. For example, foods high in omega-3 fatty acids, like salmon or walnuts, are great for brain health. Leafy greens, like spinach and kale, are packed with antioxidants that fight off free radicals and support your immune system. And don't forget about fiber. Foods like beans, oats, and berries can help keep your digestion regular, which is something many people struggle with as they age. But here's the thing. I'm not suggesting you completely overhaul your diet overnight. Small changes can add up over time. Maybe you start by swapping white bread for whole grain bread, or adding an extra serving of veggies to your dinner plate. Or perhaps you experiment with new recipes to make healthy eating more exciting. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. And remember, it's okay to indulge every now and then too. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and part of that enjoyment comes from savoring the foods you love. Balance is key. Speaking of balance, let's talk about hydration. This is another area where misconceptions abound. Many people assume that as they age, their thirst signals become less reliable. which can lead to dehydration without them even realizing it. And while it's true that our sense of thirst can diminish with age, staying hydrated is absolutely crucial for maintaining energy, supporting digestion, and keeping your skin looking healthy. So, how do you make sure you're drinking enough water? One simple trick is to carry a reusable water bottle with you throughout the day. Having it nearby serves as a visual reminder to take a sip, even if you don't feel particularly thirsty. You can also boost your hydration by eating water-rich foods like cucumbers, watermelon, and oranges. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about another myth that tends to weigh heavily on people as they age. The idea that independence is something you inevitably lose. I've heard so many stories from folks who worry about becoming a burden to their loved ones or losing the ability to do things for themselves. And while it's natural to have those concerns, the reality is that independence doesn't have to disappear just because you're getting older. In fact, with the right mindset and tools, you can maintain and even enhance your independence for years to come. One of the best ways to preserve your independence is by staying proactive about your health. Regular checkups with your doctor, for example, can help catch potential issues early before they become major problems. Don't wait until something feels wrong to schedule an appointment. Prevention is always better than cure. Additionally, consider incorporating assistive devices into your daily routine if needed. Things like grab bars in the shower, non-slip mats, or even a walking cane can make a world of difference in helping you move safely and confidently through your day. There's no shame in using these tools. They're designed to empower you, not hold you back. Another important aspect of maintaining independence is continuing to set goals for yourself. Whether it's learning a new skill, traveling to a place you've always wanted to visit, or simply committing to a daily walk around the block, having something to work toward gives you a sense of purpose and keeps you motivated. Goals don't have to be grand or complicated. They just need to matter to you. And guess what? Pursuing them often leads to unexpected benefits, like meeting new people or discovering hidden talents. Let's wrap up our conversation today by addressing one last big myth: the belief that happiness declines with age. It's easy to see why this misconception exists. After all, aging often brings challenges, health issues, loss of loved ones, changes in lifestyle. But here's the beautiful truth. Studies show that many people actually report higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction as they grow older. Why? Because with age comes wisdom, perspective, and a deeper appreciation for the moments that truly matter. If you've ever felt weighed down by the pressures of modern life, the constant hustle, the never-ending to-do lists, I want to remind you that it's okay to slow down. In fact, slowing down can be one of the greatest gifts you give yourself. Instead of focusing on what you've lost, try shifting your attention to what you've gained. Maybe it's the freedom to spend more time with family, the opportunity to pursue passions you didn't have time for earlier in life, or simply the peace that comes from knowing who you are and what makes you happy. Happiness isn't about chasing external achievements. It's about finding joy in the everyday and embracing the beauty of the present moment. Of course, cultivating happiness takes practice, just like anything else. One powerful way to do this is through gratitude. Taking a few minutes each day to reflect on the things you're thankful for, even the small ones, like a warm cup of coffee or a kind word from a friend, can significantly boost your mood and outlook on life. Another strategy is to focus on giving back. Volunteering, mentoring, or simply offering a listening ear to someone in need can create a profound sense of fulfillment. When you contribute to others' lives, you enrich your own in ways you might not expect. As we bring this conversation to a close, I want to leave you with a final thought. Aging isn't something to fear or dread. It's a journey filled with opportunities to learn, grow, and thrive. Yes, there will be ups and downs along the way, but that's true at any stage of life. What sets this chapter apart is the wisdom and resilience you've accumulated over the years. You know what works for you, what doesn't, and what truly brings you joy. Trust in that knowledge, and don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and your well-being. Before we say goodbye, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned about aging that surprised you? Or maybe there's a habit or tip you've discovered that's made a difference in your life. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and I know others would benefit from hearing your story too. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. My mission is to provide practical advice and encouragement to help you live your best life, no matter your age. Here's to embracing the truth about aging, letting go of limiting beliefs, and stepping into each new day with confidence and joy. Thank you for spending this time with me, and remember, you're capable of so much more than you might realize. Here's to living your best life at any age